Hello and welcome. Today we are going to know about Indian Airlines Flight 171. This video is going to be a short one simply because the information regarding this crash is very scarce and hard to find. The reason this flight deserves a video of its own is because whenever we talk about Indian aviation and its history, we never talk about this particular crash, even though it is a tragic and deadly one. Indian Airlines Flight 171 was a regular flight between the Indian metro cities of Mumbai and Chennai. On 12th of October 1976, a Seth Aviation Caravel registered VTDWN was to operate this sector. This flight had encountered problems even before taking off, as the Boeing aircraft originally supposed to operate this flight had developed engine troubles of its own. Sud Aviation Caravel was a French jet airliner which had its maiden flight in 1955. The short-range aircraft had two tail-mounted turbojet engines, allowing a clean low wing. On that day, the flight was carrying 89 passengers and 6 crew members. After the boarding was complete, the aircraft made its way towards runway 27 for takeoff. The takeoff roll was normal, the lift was normal, but the climb was not. Shortly after takeoff, engine number 2 failed. A fire had erupted in engine number 2. The cause of the fire was unknown, but there was no time to figure that out. Immediately, the crew began turning their aircraft back to Mumbai for an emergency landing on runway 09. I don't know how, but the pilots managed to line up the aircraft with the runway for the landing. Just when it seemed that they would land safely, all hell broke loose. As the aircraft was 3,000 feet away from the end of the runway and 300 feet in the air, the aircraft suffered a final loss of control and plummeted to the ground. The plane was very close to the ground, hence there was no way for the pilots to make any corrective measures. Flight 171 slammed into the ground near the end of the runway, killing all 95 people on board immediately. The investigators knew that the crash had something to do with the engines of the plane. On careful examination of the engine, they found that the compressor casing for engine number 2 had burst, which in turn led to the cutting of the fuel lines which spanned the entire structure. The fire in the engine area was fed by the fuel leaking from these lines, which in turn made the fire uncontrollable. But what exactly had caused the engine casing to burst? On further examination, they found their culprit. There was a fatigue crack in the 10th stage compressor disc which had caused the engine failure, which further resulted in the compressor casing giving up. The sequence of events was quite clear, and we finally knew why the flight ended in a tragedy. But could the pilots have done anything to save their plane? As is the case in crashes like these, I could not find an investigation report for this crash. Hence, we cannot completely understand what kind of situation the pilots found themselves in. By the looks of it, things look really bad, and it is a miracle in itself that they were able to turn around and come so close to landing their plane. The worst part of this tragedy is that the pilots were so close to landing their aircraft. If they had control on their plane for even half a minute more, they would have landed the plane safely. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know if you have any other information regarding this crash. I would love to hear your insights. Thank you once again.